Welcome back to another episode of Radical Responsibility Revolution. I'm Debbie Dobbins, the author of Your Inner Billionaire, lover of possibility, and believer in miracles because you are a miracle. And I'm also an occasional destroyer of spiritual fairy tales. Today's episode might step on a few toes, including some that used to belong to me. I love my toes. You know what? We're going to talk about manifestation again because this channel has got a lot of information about manifestation and it's people are just getting it wrong. I'm not talking about the Instagram version, not the vision board and vibrations version, because those all are part of the conversation. It's not the just think positive and wait for your ship to come in version. I'm going to be talking about real manifestation, the kind that actually changes your entire life, the kind that turns dreams into businesses and reality, ideas into books, goals into reality, income into wealth, generational wealth. I've noticed something happening in the personal development and spiritual communities that I'm not really thrilled about. People are learning about energy. They're learning about vibration, all very important, learning about intuition, talk about it all the time, and about universal law. You have to know all of those things, and that's wonderful. Bingo. And I teach all of those things, and yet somewhere along the way, so many people have accidentally thrown action right out the window. You can't do that. I learned a term when I was becoming a spiritual practitioner, and we call affirmative prayer treatment. So treat and move your feet, one, or as the Bible says, faith without works is dead. Dead, dead, dead. So here we have people becoming spiritually sophisticated and practically paralyzed, meaning practical action. And if that's you, this episode may be exactly what you've needed to hear. Exactly. So let's begin with some compassion because generally people don't equate me with compassion because I'm, just do it. Because I understand exactly how this happens. Many of us grew up believing success only came through struggle. Okay, so I rail against that whole idea of work harder, push harder, sacrifice more, sleep way less. If you hustle longer, then it's going to be okay. Earn your worth, prove yourself, all of those things. That's not the thing I'm talking about. If you do all of those things, you've programmed yourself, you'll deserve success. And then maybe you'll deserve abundance. Or maybe at the very least, you'll deserve to rest. It's exhausting. So here's what's missing. Many people, especially women, have created burnout for themselves overdoing the hustle, right? We became human doings instead of human beings. So when we discovered spiritual principles, we learn about frequency, we learn about intuition, we learn about manifestation. It feels like finally, taking a deep breath after holding it for 20 plus years. And then we begin to think, oh, thank goodness, I don't have to push anymore, which is partially true. And that's where the pendulum swings, right? It swung way over here to the burnout and the doing too much. And then it swung over here to don't do anything. And we move from overdoing to underdoing, from forcing to waiting, from hustle to passivity. And neither one of those extremes creates extraordinary results, which is what you're looking for. You're looking for a miracle. You're looking for your dream. So here's the trap. You start believing your energy alone should create the outcome. You meditate, you journal, you affirm, you visualize, you create another vision board. And the worst thing of all, you buy another course. You listen to another podcast, which hopefully this podcast will seal the deal for you. You read another book. My book, Your Inner Billionaire, would probably get you there. You watch another YouTube video, and somehow your life still looks remarkably similar. Imagine that. Not because manifestation doesn't work. That's not what's happening. It's because manifestation was never meant to replace action. It was meant to, get this, guide it. The universe is not asking you to do nothing. The universe is asking you to do the right things from the right energy. I call it sacred action. Big, big difference. And I see this in entrepreneurs constantly. Constantly. A woman will tell me she wants 6 figures. She wants freedom. She wants clients. She wants impact. She wants more abundance. Wonderful. All of those are absolutely brilliant desires. And then I ask, how many people did you invite to work with you this week? Not on social media, like alive people. And I get crickets. Crickets. How many conversations did you start that can actually move the trajectory? And I get silence again. How many offers did you make? Silence. So what happens is, because she's afraid of visibility, she waits for clients while hiding, waits for abundance while avoiding a sales, which I hate the word sales, but a conversation to promote herself with whatever it is that she's doing. You're waiting for opportunities while refusing to take risks. And if you follow me at all, you know that micro acts of courage are what will move this forward. So all of those things, though, the waiting, which is really just fear of taking movement forward, is not manifestation. It's just fear dressed up as manifestation. It's just avoidance wearing a crystal necklace. Okay, I know you know who I'm talking to. And yes, I have absolutely been guilty of it. 100%. That's why I know it. And one of my favorite questions is this: why would your soul choose a physical body if physical action wasn't part of the assignment? Right? You're not meant to just sit around. Think about that. If all creation happened exclusively in consciousness, which theoretically it does, but on this planet, why would we have bodies? Why would we have hands? Why would we have voices? Why would we have movement and choice and decision making? Well, the answer is very simple. Because consciousness does create through form. That's how it does it. But it's the consciousness that creates through the form. The invisible becomes visible. The energetic becomes physical. The dream becomes reality through us. We are the bridge between consciousness in this planet and the activity. This is where feminine energy gets misunderstood, because feminine energy is beautiful and it needs to be balanced where it hasn't been in the past. And that's why we do the struggle bus thing. So feminine energy is intuition and the vision and the creativity and the receptivity, the flow, the possibility, the imagination. The feminine receives the download, and then the masculine, which is the doingness, builds the bridge. But we have been doing it backwards because we've been spending too much time in masculine for burnout. Then we found spirituality, which we went all the way to the other extreme with the feminine, and then we didn't build the bridge. The feminine sees the dream, feels the dream. The masculine then creates the roadmap. The feminine hears the whisper, and the masculine takes the steps. This is all in us. One without the other creates imbalance, which is what we've had, so many of us up until now. The feminine without the masculine energy becomes fantasy. The masculine without feminine becomes burnout, which we all know that one. And the magic happens when they dance together. So here's my favorite metaphor. The masculine energy is the car. The feminine energy is the gasoline, that frequency. You need both. A beautiful luxury vehicle with no fuel goes nowhere. And a tank full of fuel with no vehicle is not taking you anywhere either. The feminine provides direction. The masculine enacts the direction. The feminine provides the inspiration for that action. The masculine provides this implementation, and together they create movement. And so most people think manifestation looks like this: visualize, receive. but there's an incompleteness there. The actual formula looks like believe, become, focus, feel, receive the downloads from the intuition, take sacred action, and adjust. Remember, it's about adjusting. It's not about goals and it's not about a plan, right? When I said before it was a roadmap, because a road map can change. You can go on your road and a path and then you divert. So, what's so important is that most people don't understand is that you take action, you take that sacred action, and then you adjust when you feel the call, when you feel the whisper come up again and say, hey, take this road, or hey, take this detour. Then you take action again. And that's when results start to show up in form. That's manifestation. That's co creation. That's what partnership with life looks like. And this is where radical responsibility enters the conversation because I'm all about the radical responsibility and not the victimhood. Because every day you are casting votes for your future, you're actually rehearsing your future. Every action, every choice, every boundary, every conversation, every decision, and guess what? Every excuse, because an excuse is just victimhood. Every commitment that you make, you are constantly voting and rehearsing for who you are becoming in your future. Not someday, today, today, today. And here's the empowering truth. If your actions don't match your vision isn't the problem. Alignment is. So instead of asking, why isn't the universe bringing me what I want? Ask this. What action would the version of me who already has this take today? Right here, right now. That question changes everything, including the trajectory that you're on. Because suddenly you're not waiting anymore. You're becoming, you're being, and that's the essence of it. Believe, become, broadcast. So if you've been feeling stuck, if you've been visualizing and hoping and waiting, if you've been wondering why things aren't moving, I'm going to invite you to remember something. The universe is never withholding your dream. Never, ever, 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 ever. The universe is never withholding your dream. The universe may very well be waiting for your participation because your intuition matters, your vision matters, your energy matters, and your frequency matters. But so do your choices. So do your boundaries. And so do your actions, especially your sacred actions, because the life you deserve is not created through wishing. It's created through consciousness, conscious co creation. Frequency opens the door, radical responsibility walks through it, and freedom lives on the other side. Oh, if this has resonated with you, please share it with a friend. And remember, you are powerful beyond your own comprehension. You are capable, and your inner billionaire is waiting for you to say yes to both the vision and the action. See you next time.